constant rhythm. It struck him how easy all this would be if someone were to come to his aid. Two strong people, he thought of his father and the servant girl, would have been quite sufficient. They would have only had to push their arms under his arched back to get him out of the bed.
Page
to bend down
142.
with their load, and then merely to exercise patience and care that he completed the flip onto the floor, where his diminutive legs would then, he hoped, acquire a purpose.
Mark it.
Now, quite apart from the fact that the doors were locked, should he really call out for help? In spite of all his distress, he was unable to suppress a smile at this idea. He had already got to the point where, with a stronger rocking, he maintained his equilibrium with difficulty, and very soon he would finally have to decide, for in 5 minutes it would be 7:15. Then there was a ring at the door of the apartment. "That's someone from the office," he told himself, and he almost froze while his small limbs only danced around all the faster. For one moment, everything remained still.
Mark that.
"They aren't opening," Gregor said to himself, caught up in some absurd hope. But of course, then, as usual, the servant girl with her firm tread went to the door and opened it. Gregor needed to hear only the visitor's first word of greeting to recognize immediately who it was. The manager himself.
Mark that.
Why was Gregor the only one condemned to work in a firm where at the slightest lapse, someone immediately attracted the greatest suspicion?
Mark that.
Were all the employees then collectively, one and all, scoundrels? Was there then among them no truly devoted person who, if he failed to use just a couple of hours in the morning for office work, would become abnormal from pangs of conscience and really be in no state to get out of bed? Was it really not enough to let an apprentice make inquiries, if such questioning was even necessary? Must the manager himself come, and in the process must it be demonstrated to the entire innocent family that the investigation of this suspicious circumstance could only be entrusted to the intelligence of the manager? And more as a consequence of the excited state in which this idea put Gregor than as a result of an actual decision, he swung himself with all his might out of the bed. There was a loud thud, but not a real crash. The fall was absorbed somewhat by the carpet, and in addition, his back was more elastic than Gregor had thought. For that reason, the dull noise was not quite so conspicuous. But he had not held his head up with sufficient care, and had hit it. He turned his head, irritated and in pain, and rubbed it on the carpet. "Something has fallen in there," said the manager, in the next room on the left. Gregor tried to imagine to himself whether anything similar to what was happening to him today could have also happened at some point to the manager.
Mark that.
At least one had to concede the possibility of such a thing. However, as if to give a rough answer to this question, the manager now took a few determined steps in the next room, with a squeak of his polished boots. From the neighboring room on the right, the sister was whispering to inform Gregor. "Gregor, the manager is here." "I know," said Gregor to himself. But he did not dare make his voice loud enough so that his sister could hear.
Page 143.
"Gregor," his father now said from the neighboring room on the left. "Mr. Manager has come and is asking why you have not left on the early train. We don't know what we should tell him. Besides, he also wants to speak to you personally. So please, open the door. He will be good enough to forgive the mess in your room." In the middle of all this, the manager called out in a friendly way. "Good morning, Mr. Samsa." "He is not well," said his mother to the manager, while his father was still talking at the door.
Mark it.
"He is not well, believe me, Mr. Manager. Otherwise, how would Gregor miss a train? The young man has nothing in his head except business.
Mark that.
I'm almost angry that he never goes out at night. Right now, he's been in the city 8 days, but he's been at home every evening. He sits there with us at the table and reads the newspaper quietly or studies his travel schedules. It's quite a diversion for him if he busies himself with fretwork. For instance, he cut out a small frame over the course of 2 or 3 evenings. You'd be amazed how pretty it is. It's hanging right inside the room. You'll see it immediately, as soon as Gregor opens the door. Anyway, I'm happy that you're here, Mr. Manager. By ourselves, we would never have made Gregor open the door. He's so stubborn.
Mark it.
And he's certainly not well, although he denied that this morning." I'm coming right away, said Gregor, slowly and deliberately, and didn't move, so as not to lose one word of the conversation. My dear lady, I cannot explain it to myself in any other way, said the manager. I hope it is nothing serious.
Mark it.
On the other hand, I must also say that we business people, luckily or unluckily, however one looks at it, very often simply have to overcome a slight indisposition for business reasons.
Mark it.
So can Mr. Manager come in to see you now? Asked his father impatiently and knocked once again on the door. No, said Gregor. In the neighboring room on the left, a painful stillness descended.
Mark
In
stillness.
the neighboring room on the right, the sister began to sob.
Mark it.
Why didn't his sister go to the others? She'd probably just gotten up out of bed now and hadn't even started to get dressed yet. Then why was she crying? Because he wasn't getting up and wasn't letting the manager in? Because he was in danger of losing his position? And because then his boss would badger his parents once again with the old demands? Those were probably unnecessary worries right now. Gregor was still here and wasn't thinking at all about abandoning his family.
Mark it.
At the moment, he was lying right there on the carpet, and no one who knew about his condition would have seriously demanded that he let the manager in. But Gregor wouldn't be casually dismissed right away because of this small discourtesy, for which he would find an easy and suitable excuse later on. It seemed to Gregor that it might be far more reasonable to leave him in peace at the moment, instead of disturbing him with crying and conversation. But it was the very uncertainty which distressed the others and excused their behavior. Mr. Samsa, the manager was now shouting, his voice raved.
All right, guys, we'll stop there. Obviously, we have a situation where Gregor he's a bug, guys, and yet notice how little it seems that he's interested in being a bug. His concern is how to get ready to get on a train and go to work, and then his manager shows up, and again, his concern is, I got to figure out a way to take care of this. Of course, there's some family dynamics here at play that we want to pay attention to already. Notice we've met now sister, we've met father, we've met mother. Jot down at level 1, what do you want to say about each of those guys, okay, as we get ready? And what do good readers do? Make predictions, yes? So when we come back, we'll pick up right here at this point in our text. Can you predict what will happen next? Thank you.